Finally, in this last part, we're going to install the Seacocks and get them rehooked up to the boat's plumbing so that we can get everything ready to go back in the water. So let's finish this thing up. I've got my backup plates all prepared. As you can see, I've roughed up the back of them for the adhesive to stick. I've put the bolts in and just hand tightened some nuts to hold the bolts in place. I've also got the through hull ready to go, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the through hull in this plate to hold it centered in the hole as when I glue it. So what I've done here is I've taken some masking tape and I've wrapped it around the through hull, but it's sticky side out. That way it slides on and off. So when I glue this in with the through hull centering everything, I'll be able to get the through hull back out without it getting stuck in the methacrylate adhesive. So let's go ahead and start putting our plates in. Then we'll be ready to start putting in through hulls. This is a very thick material and it comes out rather slowly. And unfortunately, it was kind of cold last night, so that slows it down even more. But we're not in a rush. We'll take our time just to ease this stuff in here.
You can also add the beads of adhesive directly to the backing plate. This is helpful in areas where it may be hard to reach.
Now, because we've got this marked here, we can tell where to line it up on the hull.
This is an important step because you want to make sure that the handle comes out facing in the direction you need it to be in and that it won't get blocked by anything.
Slide the through hull in, keep it nice and centered, and I'll press that down. That's how I want that. That's how it's going to be.
As I push the backing plate down firmly, some of the adhesive will ooze out from around the plate. I use my finger to smooth this out and create sort of a fillet on the edge of the plate.
Okay, it's been about an hour and the methacrylate adhesive has cured. So now it's time to go ahead and put in the Seacock and the through hull. What I'll do is I'll take some 5200 and put it around the base of the Seacock. Then set that onto my plate, tighten the bolts up, and then I'll go outside of the boat, put some caulk around the inside of the through hull, and I'll take this tool, which is a through hull tool, slips in there, and I'll use that with a wrench to tighten that down and get that nice and tight. And then we'll be done, except for hooking the inside plumbing back up to it. But we do have a bunch of these to do, so let's get to it. And you'll note I'm only sealing around the opening itself, the hole where the through hull is going to go through, because that's really the only place it's going to leak. There's no point in gooping up all around there. That'll just get all in your nuts and everything, and it will make a mess. So, let's see how we're going to do this. Down there like that.
It can be helpful to put the through hull in from the outside before tightening all the nuts down. This way, if you need to shift the Seacock a little bit, you'll have a little bit of play to do that.
All we need is a nice little bead around here, and that will fill out nicely down below. Alright, time to go install this.
Using the through hull tool, I'll insert the through hull and get the thread started and tighten it down a bit by hand. Then I'll use a large crescent wrench to further tighten it up. You don't want to over tighten it, you just want to get it nice and snug. So don't put too much pressure on it. Once the through hull is tight, I'll use a putty knife to trim off the excess caulking. I want to try to remove as much of it as possible with the putty knife. That way when I go to do the final cleanup, it doesn't just smear around. Finally, I just use a dry paper towel to clean up. I like to avoid using solvents if possible because they can compromise the sealant. You may run into some problems with the through hull not lining up properly with the Seacock on the inside. When this happens, you may have to trim out the hole a little bit. Here I'm using a drill with a rotary rasp to try to clean up the hole a bit so that the through hull lines up a little bit better with the Seacock inside. Once I know the threads are going to engage okay, I can go ahead and add the sealant and thread in the through hull. And finally, all we have left to do is connect the inside plumbing.
Okay, now that we've got the through hulls reinstalled and everything cleaned up and ready to go, we're done with this project. Hopefully somebody's learned a little bit of something from all of this. Perhaps you only have one or two Seacocks to replace, or you just want to remove one and fill it in with glass. Hopefully this video will give you some instructions and some ideas how to do that. As with any project, there is no set way to do things. As you can see from this project, even removing the through hulls, we had to use several different methods to do that. So every project's unique and everyone's going to require a little bit different technique to get it accomplished. But hopefully this video will give you some clues and ideas on how to proceed on your boat.